A Haunting in Venice was a movie that I was mildly excited about because Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile, the other movies in this franchise, I enjoyed. And people have already asked me, what, you like Death on the Nile? Okay then. It's so funny how people get so upset over my opinions, but that's neither here nor there. I was excited for this movie because these movies feel like a warm blanket. It's nothing too exciting, it's just nice and cozy. I like watching these movies, and they all have the same structure. Poirot goes to some event in an enclosed area, murder, he has to investigate, and there's some foul play along the way, and then of course the big reveal, you did this. And then we're like, oh, it was them all along, because then you see all the clues. All of them are about the same, and I like these movies. I like this structure, and I wanted to see some more of it. But the question still remains, does this movie suck? Or is it worth a watch? Because this one has a bit of a different flavor to it. Hey guys, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic. Thank you guys so much for being with me today. I really do appreciate it. And on this channel, I just want to cut through all the toxic BS of fandom and gatekeeping and needless politics and none of that crap. I just want to give you guys my honest opinion about this movie. And I want you guys to tell me your honest opinion down in the comment section down below. Are you guys excited for this movie? Do you guys like the other movies in this franchise? Do you like other whodunit movies like Knives Out, like Clue? Like, you know, name your favorites down below. But now let's get into it. So Kenneth Branagh is our star, and he is our director, and he has directed such films as Belfast and Artemis Fowl. I heard that one was terrible, never saw that one. Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit, Cinderella, Thor, Hamlet, Henry V. And it stars him as well as Michelle Yeoh, Jamie Dornan, Tina Fey, Kelly Reilly, Kyle Allen, amongst many others. And Poirot is retired in this movie, but his friend Tina Fey plays a mystery writer, and she invites him to a seance on Halloween night. She basically says, you're gonna believe in ghosts after tonight. And of course, a big group of people, enclosed area, murder, who did it? He has to investigate. So what did I think of this movie? Well, like I said earlier, it's the exact same structure as the last two, and I enjoyed this movie. I could really end the review right there because, again, like, this movie doesn't bring that much new to the table. There is one really big new element, which I will talk about, but yeah, it's an enjoyable movie, and like, there's not much else to add to it. Like the other ones, I would say that there's good pacing for the most part. There's one big moment where I'll talk about where I'm like, I'm not getting into this, which is a shame. And there's a good reveal overall, and it keeps you guessing for the most part. And when the big reveal happens, it's not like, oh yeah, I could see that coming from a mile away. I suspected it, but I was like, okay, it didn't happen in the way that I thought it would. So if a movie like this can keep you guessing, then it's doing its job properly. And yes, some people might go like, well, I'm very smart. I could see it happening from a mile away. Okay, then great. Then don't watch any movie ever because you are just going to be able to figure it out, right? And I would say the dumber you are, I never saw this coming. So again, if you can... I enjoyed the movie, so again, maybe that says something about my intelligence. But I want to get this like negative part out of the way first. When the movie started, it was having a really tough time getting me invested. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just the theater that I was in, like the seat was really uncomfortable, and I'd been in this theater before, but for some reason, I'm like listening to Tina Fey and Kenneth Branagh talk on screen, and I'm just like, there's nothing happening. I'm not retaining any information, and I don't know if it was just because of like the editing between them, the writing, the dialogue, the shots. It wasn't clicking. My best analogy for this is when you're reading a book and you like read an entire page and then you realize, oh my God, I didn't retain any information. My mind was completely somewhere else. I got to do it again. And that's how it felt for like the first 25 minutes of this movie. And I'm going, oh, it's just frustrating because I'm like, I like these movies, but it's just nothing's happening. And again, like this is just a real personal experience. Again, you guys might watch this movie and find the first 25 minutes fascinating, but I got to tell you guys how I felt in the theater. And then once the actual seance happened, and then I'm like, okay, I know that all the characters are in this room. All the characters are here together. They can't escape. There's going to be a murder. Then I started to get invested. So again, it was just one of those starts. It was a slow start, but it did pick up and it did land on its feet. And I did enjoy myself throughout the entire movie. But here is where this movie differs from the other two movies. This really does feel more like a horror movie. If you see the trailer, this feels like a straight up horror movie. And I didn't even know it was going to be one of these Agatha Christie murder mystery novel books turned into a movie in this franchise until we actually see Kenneth Branagh, Poirot, on screen. And I'm like, oh, this is like a pretty freaky horror movie. It's got Michelle Yeoh in it. Oh my God, Tina Fey. This is going to be interesting. Oh, it's one of these. Okay. And with the horror film angle, I think this movie does a pretty good job because there's a lot of really unique angles and shadow work, kind of like the German Expressionism era of the 1920s? I want to say the 20s. My film historians in the comment section can confirm or deny whether or not I'm right, but it's like that Nosferatu type of style where the camera angles and the shadows feel so larger than life and so interesting and diagonal and weird and off-putting, and it feels like there's something chilling going on here. And I really enjoyed the look of this movie, even though there were quite a few shots where I just didn't really understand or really see what was happening. But again, it's supposed to be a dark movie, and I feel like maybe that's part of the theater that I was into. It wasn't the best theater in the world, but this movie does do a really good job at playing with the ghost angle. So again, in a murder mystery, everything has a rational explanation, but in this one, it's like, no, you will become a believer. You will believe in ghosts after going to this seance and being in this place. And the movie does a pretty good job at making you believe, what if ghosts are real? At least in this story. What if ghosts and spirits and the dead have something to do with what's going on here? The movie does a pretty good job at making you feel like it could be a possibility. Now, I will admit that in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, he's going to solve the mystery, no problem, and he's going to find a rational explanation for it. I just didn't know how he was going to do it. It wasn't so laid out in front of me, which is a good thing. You want to be on your toes in a whodunit movie. It makes you believe that it could actually happen, and at the end, there is some room for doubt. You're like, well, maybe, you know. It's no Inception top, but there is a bit of a question mark at the end, which is nice. It's not like annoying, you know, where it's like a giant question is unanswered, but, you know, it's a nice little hint where it's like, maybe, let's move on. And what I like about this too is that it actually plays into the whole motive and the doubt and the rationale of all the suspects and eventually the murderer. They know that people in this house are superstitious. They believe in ghosts, and some people really do believe it was the ghosts and the spirits that did this stuff. And of course, this being a horror movie, there were some moments that really did get my theater just to jump and to scream. And that's always a good thing. I always love when you're in a theater and then there's that big jump scare and everyone's like, oh my God. Woo, okay, yeah, we're good. So there was quite a few moments like that too. And yeah, I'm trying to think of like more I could put into this movie. Like the performances were good. The pacing was good for the most part. Again, like that beginning part was just baffling to me. I'm like, I'm not into this movie, and that could just be a personal thing. The reveal is good. I do like the ghost angle, the horror movie aspects, the German Expressionism. It's a good movie. And the door just opened, and there's my cat. My spooky black Halloween cat. Why don't you go say hi? Come on. Roger, did you like the movie? You didn't see it, but what do you think? Do you want to recommend it? I like holding him like a baby. Okay, you go play. So it's a good movie. It's not great. I wouldn't even really recommend it to people and going, you gotta see this movie. It's a must see. But it's a movie that I was happy to see, and I enjoyed it. So, overall rating, 3 out of 5. I liked it. And I like the other movies in this series. And if you did as well, then I think that you would like this movie too. And I think some people who were talking, you know, outside of the theater said that this was the best one. And I might agree with them on that. So there you have it, guys. That's A Haunting in Venice. Those are my thoughts on the movie. If you guys like this video and you want to see more videos just like it, then definitely hit like and subscribe. I really appreciate all the support. And if you want to join our Patreon, the link is down below in the description. Monthly watch-alongs, early content, and monthly giveaways is what you get when you join Patreon. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.